What's up, everyone? Welcome into the latest episode where this one will be a Detroit sports episode. We have a little bit of lines to talk about. I did do a quick reaction to them hiring Drew Petzing. I'll talk a little bit more about that hire, in my opinion, since doing a little bit of research since then. I'll also talk a little bit about Red Wings Pistons as well. But let's get into it with the Detroit Lions hiring Drew Petzing, the former offensive coordinator from the Arizona Cardinals. Like I said, I did a quick preview, a quick short on this hire. So if you want to go check that out, go check it out. That was just my immediate reaction to it. Since kind of taking a few minutes to do a little bit of research, I did talk a little bit about how he's a offense coordinator that is very run first, and how this fit for the Detroit Lions makes sense, right? Like, this is something that Dan Campbell wants to do, is run the football, play physical football. And with the Cardinals, when they were healthy, especially James Conner, this was an offense that was able to run the ball very effectively. And obviously, they took a step back this past season because James Conner in that running back room was injured quite a bit. They also lost their offensive line coach, but now he has Hank Fraley, and there's a relationship with Hank Fraley back to the Vikings. I think it was like 2014 to 2017, sometime around there. There's a relationship between him and Petsy, and I obviously think that relationship definitely helps. It really truly seems like the Cardinals use 12 personnel quite a bit. It seems like they like to use a little play action as well. So you can truly see how this makes sense. And there was reports on that the Lions and Dan Campbell really like Mike McDaniel. He really liked him, but just didn't necessarily see it as a complete fit. And since truly doing research on this, I think this is a hire that could very much work out for Detroit. Is it going to be one of the flashiest hires you'll see? No, but it's also a hire, in my opinion, that you're taking a risk on, right? Like, I think this is probably one of the bigger risks you can take. He's a guy that wasn't on a ton of guys' radars, or a ton of people's radars, and he's a guy that a lot of people believe he's going to be the next really kind of young coach. There's a lot of praise from coaches that have worked with him about just how smart he is, just how kind of his run schemes truly work. And this is going to be an opportunity for him to come to Detroit. And if things work out, there could be a real possibility that he's not in Detroit after next year, because he's already been interviewed for head coaching positions. You want to talk about one specific head coaching position? We can talk about the Bears. He interviewed for the Bears last year before Ben Johnson got it. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean he's going to get that position. That doesn't mean he was truly going to be someone that would get a head coaching position at any time, or even last year. But he's in the running. And I think that truly shows you a little bit of what teams around the league think of him, how he's a guy that can be a very good, high potential coach, a coach that is very, very intelligent when it comes to offensive play calling. And I think this is obviously, like I said, a risk for Dan Campbell, a risk for the Detroit Lions, but this is a real possibility that you're getting a little bit back to what the Lions want to be. And that is a very physical, run-heavy offense that truly kind of builds off of play action. And when you have a guy, Jared Goff, that is so efficient when he has play action, when he has a run game, this is going to be a hire that, like I said at the beginning, makes total sense. Is it going to be a home run hire? Is it going to be something that a lot of fans are going to love right away? No, you see a lot of fans not be very, very happy with this hire overall. But the more I look into it, the more I'm like, okay, like, it's a fine hire. It is a hire that's going to come with a lot of risk, and if it pays off, if this is truly the type of offense the Lions kind of get back to, I think this is a hire you look back on and you see why people and why they shouldn't have reacted the way that they should. But it truly relies on getting a good offensive line, rebuilding the offensive line, getting a run game going, and just truly kind of building off of receiver concepts. I think it's the running game concepts. I think it's the receiver, the route concepts is going to be extremely important. And it's going to be his total offense, right? Like, Dan Campbell is not getting involved in play calling anymore. If the offense struggles, it's going to be solely on him. And there could be a real possibility fans get upset about it, but it's going to be interesting. It is really going to be interesting. It is going to be a hire that is going to be highly scrutinized going into next year. But to hire that, if it pans out, he has the pieces, right? He has the pieces. He does not have what the Cardinals have, and that is he has the pieces. One thing that the Cardinals did have was Trey McBride, and he's an elite tight end in my opinion. And you have Sam Laporta coming back. You saw the offense truly kind of take a step back once he went down. I think Sam Laporta could be in for a big year next year, especially with Drew Petzing, as long as Sam Laporta comes back 100% healthy. But yeah, overall, I'm fine with it. I'm not wowed by it. I'm not really kind of thinking it's underwhelming anymore. Especially because like the chance that they got Mike McDaniel, it never seemed like that was going to really truly pan out. It seemed they really liked him. It just didn't kind of dot the I's, cross the T's, everything that I want. And it sounds like Drew Petzing did. So at this point, it's kind of like trust Brad Holmes, trust Dan Campbell that they got the guy, and it truly works out. So overall, I'm fine with the hire, as long as they can kind of get the run game going, as long as that offensive line kind of gets back to what it was. And I think that will happen through free agency. I think that'll happen through the draft, and I think the Lions will be good offensively next year because I think you have the pieces at the running back room, tight end room, and wide receiver room as well. And I think Jared Goff will pan out. So going to be interesting, but we will see what happens down the road. But let's talk about the Red Wings and Pistons up next. Definitely a lot to talk about for both of these teams. A lot of really good news to talk about as well. Let's talk a little bit about the Pistons, right? Because there was great news released earlier today, and that is Cade Cunningham will be an all-star starter. Absolutely well-deserved. Absolutely well-deserved. Cade Cunningham has been absolutely fantastic. The Pistons have been absolutely fantastic throughout this season. Tonight they're playing against the Boston Celtics. They play the Boston Celtics extremely tough. If you really truly look at the first couple matchups against the Celtics, it's been really close games. It's been really competitive games, and the Pistons are coming off of a couple wins against the Suns. They're also coming off of a win against the Indiana Pacers as well, which obviously Pacers, not a great team, completely blew out the Pacers. After that, they did have the Clippers prior to that. So it's basically a 2-win streak at this point. Suns 3-point win, Pacers completely blown out. Cunningham in both those games. Cunningham 16 points in that game against the Pacers, but absolutely well deserved for Cade Cunningham. He, in my opinion, is one of the best players in the NBA at this point. I think he's very much a top 10 player in the NBA. I think he's been absolutely special this year for the Pistons, and the Pistons have been great this year, right? Like the Pistons are 30-10 currently, and they're obviously working their way towards the All-Star break. They still have a couple more games to get to that point, but just the way this team plays, just the defense that they provide, just the way the offense just kind of rolls, it truly is a really fun team to watch. And I think that's going to continue to happen. I think this is going to be a team that's going to continue to get better. This is just, in my opinion, really fun basketball. Really fun basketball. You have Cade Cunningham. Obviously, Jalen Duren has been great this year. Isaiah Stewart has been great this year. You get key contributions like Duncan Robinson, the couple of games prior, leading scorer 19 and 20 points. Isaiah Stewart has had some big games. Obviously, I mentioned Cade. Cade's been the leading scorer for a long time this season, but it's just been different players contributing to this team. And it truly is that and just kind of the key contributors contributing for a lot of it, but there's also some other players that are truly stepping up as well. But yeah, if you just look at the stats the Pistons have had this year, Cade's averaging 26 points, Jalen Duren's averaging a double-double. Cade's averaging almost a double-double with points and assists. You have Tobias Harris putting in a decent effort. Duncan Robinson averaging 12 points. Asur Thompson averaging 10 points. Stewart's not averaging a ton of points, but he does much more than that. He's just a physical kind of player on this team, and it's not just him. It is not just him. I truly do like this Pistons team. I do really like JB Bickerstaff. I think this Pistons team, just the way that they play physically, defensively with Cade Cunningham at the helm. You can see why the Pistons not only have the best record in the East, but you can see why Cade Cunningham absolutely deserves the All-Star starter role. And I love seeing the Pistons and a Detroit team get a ton of love for this All-Star game. I thought Cade Cunningham could have maybe been a starter last year as well. Obviously, not the season that the Pistons are having this year. But at the end of the day, Cade Cunningham has been one of the best players for the Pistons for a while. And I think he has been undervalued by the NBA. And I love seeing him get a ton of credit for how he's performing this year. And obviously, it does help when the Pistons overall are having a good season. But Cade's been doing this for a while, and I'm glad that he's getting that recognition. So hopefully the Pistons end up winning against the Celtics tonight. That would be a big win for them. Obviously, like I said at the beginning, been a couple of close games against them. I expect that to be the case in this one, but we'll definitely see. And I'll obviously talk about that a little bit later on as well. Last thing I really want to talk about is the Red Wings, right? Like the Red Wings, currently tied for the most points in the East, at least against the Lightning. Lightning obviously have a few games in hand, so that probably won't necessarily work out at the end of the day. But Red Wings playing really, really well right now. They're coming off of an overtime win against the Ottawa Senators. A really, really nice goal by Alex DeBrincat to win the game. He's just been fantastic this year. 25 plus goals. He's a guy that I honestly think should be in the running for the Olympics team, for the U.S. team. He's not currently on the roster. I think he absolutely deserves to be in the running. I think he deserves to be on it. Now, obviously, he's not the tallest guy, but what he's been doing for the Red Wings the past 2 years has just been absolutely dynamite. He's a guy that if you continue to put the puck on the net, he's going to score. And that's exactly what he has been doing. They also beat the San Jose Sharks, which not a great team overall, 142. They did end up losing to the Boston Bruins 3-0. But after that, like it's been really a great January and December for the Red Wings. Like it's been great hockey. They did lose two consecutive to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but like they're just playing really, really well right now, and they have a really important game against Toronto on Wednesday. That's going to be a huge game. The Red Wings have done very, very well within the conference. They need to continue to do very well because they do have a game or two in hand when it comes to just points, when it comes to playoff points, when it just comes to points in general, but the East is not going to get any easier. And this kind of journey, this really schedule that the Red Wings have isn't going to get any easier as well. I believe it's actually the toughest schedule in the NHL to end the season. And this is truly going to be a test of what this Red Wings team can be. And they're playing very, very well right now. Alex DeBrincat, Dylan Larkin, you had Mo Seider playing very, very well. Raymond ended up scoring a goal. JVR has been a huge signing for the Red Wings. John Gibson has been huge in net. These Red Wings are playing very, very well, and even against Ottawa, they went down 2-0 early on, and they truly fought their way back. This is a Red Wings team that's playing very well right now. This is a Red Wings team that is very motivated, and we're getting closer to the Olympic break, which the Red Wings are going to absolutely need. Red Wings are going to obviously have quite a few Olympians playing in there. Some of them will be playing longer than the others. And then you obviously have a little bit of break for everyone else. But it's truly about continuing to sack up wins for the Red Wings. It's continuing to play well going into the Olympic break. And you have some really, really important, really big games coming up. And if they continue to play like they have been, I do think they have to play better than they did against the Senators. I don't think the Senators are anywhere close to any of these teams coming up. No offense to the Senators, but I think you need to play a little bit better. You can't get down 2-0 against some of these teams. But at the end of the day, when you do, this team just continues to fight. They continue to find the open guy, and they continue to scrap their way to at least an overtime appearance or even an overtime win at that point. Also, ASP was able to score a goal. Really, really nice to see him. He's been kind of struggling, but really nice to see him score a goal in the power play against the Ottawa Senators. So, like seeing that. Definitely would like to see him play a little bit better. But outside of that, like, it's just been really fun to watch Hockey Town just get right into it. And I think that Wednesday game, even though it is on the road, I think it'll be a really fun game and a really fun atmosphere as well. But yeah, thank you for tuning into this episode. Really appreciate it. Just want to do a little bit of Detroit talk. Been a little while since I've done it, but if you enjoyed it, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. I'll obviously talk more Pistons and more Red Wings coming up. Depends on lines as well if we get any more news. But thank you for tuning into this episode and tune in to the next one.